Alright my friends, welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew and today I wanted to give you guys a little bit more information about my experience with the 7900 XTX now. Today has been what I've had 3 days. I've had 3 days. This is the beginning of the fourth day. I'm just getting ready to go to work. Well, I was playing last night. I made you guys a couple of videos with Alan Wake 2, Cyberpunk 2077, trying to show you guys how to utilize or fully utilize the 7900 XTX along with the Adrenaline software. I want to be able to show you guys some of these features that I find far more fascinating than anything that's on the Nvidia GPUs. The Nvidia GPUs to me, man, are pretty much, you put it in, you flip on DLSS, and then you just play your game. And for the most part, guys, if you're on a 4K screen, I do think that DLSS is going to be more beneficial for you, and that's just being honest. Most people that want 4K are, from what I gather from the community and from just other people and talking to them, it's almost like they want that crisp look that 4K delivers. And to me, like, it looks fine, and you know, I want to be pretty clear on that like, yes, if you're wanting 4K and you are one of them kind of people that, you know, I wouldn't necessarily say like casual gamer, but like somebody that just wants to get in, they just want to play the game, they just want to flip it on, they want to flip on the ultra settings and stuff like that. Yeah, like I get it. Like that makes sense to me why a lot of people would prefer DLSS over the feature set that the AMD 79 or the AMD has with Adrenaline software. I 100% get that. Like, that makes sense to me. That should make sense to you, and I understand that, because undeniably when you're playing at 4K on an Nvidia GPU and you have DLSS enabled, the picture quality, like I've said this before too, it just, in my opinion, it just looks too perfect. It looks too perfect. I don't really like it. To me, it kind of has like an uncanny valley look to it, and I notice more stuff that like stands out when doing that. Like I noticed imperfections significantly better on 4K with DLSS on. To me, it kind of takes away from the overall image quality, and that's fine. Like, most people like that. They enjoy that, and you know, for the most part, like, they're none the wiser, and that's fine too. Ignorance is bliss, and I mean, dude, I've suffered from ignorance a lot in my life too, and that's fine. But when you really dial down and you look at things, I didn't really notice this, guys, until I went from, you know, like playing Series X and PlayStation 5 on a 4K screen, and then I dropped down to a 1440p monitor, and I started noticing these things. That was the first experience that I had with downsampling. You know, going from, you know, like a 4K output of the Xbox Series X or the PlayStation 5, and then having the image quality downsampled to 1440p. And the first game that was gosh, I believe it was Horizon Forbidden West. On the PlayStation 5, like we all know, when that game first came out in 60 FPS mode, it looked atrocious on a 4K screen. Like, it looked blurry and fuzzy and just not very, very good. Well, then I put it on the 1440p monitor, and that completely fixed that. I ended up playing Forspoken on the monitor. I ended up playing all of the Sony first-party games on the monitor. I played all the Xbox games on the monitor, and my gosh, my friends, it just looked significantly better than on the 4K screen. But fast forward a little ways, and I got the 3080, and I was playing the 3080, and it was just not strong enough to really do 4K, so it was mainly a 1440p GPU, but it was definitely doing like my sim racing games at 4K. And somewhere in that time frame, somewhere around that time frame, is when I really started to appreciate the awesome ability that 1440p gives me to truly experience games and get everything. My frame rate, as well as my, you know, overall image quality. But, you know, 1440p, native 1440p, it looks good, but there could be more. because especially if you're kind of used to that 4K look, you kind of want, you know, certain things to look a little bit better. And 1440p, you know, the 3080 was before I even knew about like virtual super resolution or DSR. Like neither one of those was even a factor on that card. It was not until I bought the 7900 XT that truly opened my eyes to the full capabilities of what you can get at 1440p. So guys, in a long time now, I've seen a lot of other YouTubers, you know, like even Spratty, you know, he comes on, he says, yeah, guy, I like to just throw everything on max, click on DLSS and run that at 4K, and boom. And I'm kind of the same way, to be completely honest with you, especially because instead of me playing that on a 4K screen, I'm playing it on a 1440p monitor. So yes, in some instances I will have to utilize, you know, FSR on the AMD card, or DLSS on the, you know, on the Nvidia card, to utilize DSR or virtual super resolution. Both of those technologies allow me to output my game from my GPU to the monitor at 4K and then downsample to 1440p, which gives me significantly better image quality. Now, I made those videos with Alan Wake 2 and Cyberpunk 2077 showing you the power of being able to downsample, how you get a cleaner looking image quality because you're downsampling from 4K. So in order to play like Cyberpunk or Alan Wake on an AMD GPU with full path tracing and still have good looking image quality, I mean, it's not perfect by any means. Like if you were running it native, it would look, you know, better, but at the same time, it doesn't necessarily take as much away as most people would think it would to run at 4K using ultra performance FSR than downsampling to 1440p. You're blowing that image up, and it would look, obviously ultra performance doesn't look that great on 4K, but then it smashes all that back down, so you get all that visual quality back, and you get the sharpness and more defined look on the 1440p monitor that I've become accustomed to. And if you look at that and you take that into consideration when you're playing, like, yeah, obviously you will still be able to notice, you know, a little bit softer look or something like that. And maybe a little bit less clarity. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a little bit less clarity, especially in the distance and stuff like that when you're on the monitor. I mean, you will be able to notice that. But if you're playing like one of these heavy path trace games and you still want to be able to see that and play that on an AMD GPU, it is possible. But you have to learn how to utilize the AMD Adrenalin software. And once you learn how and what each thing does, you can alter your gaming experience like no other. Like, you can utilize these features, you can utilize this technology. The power of AMD's fluid motion frames alone gives you the ability to play all DX11 and DX12 games with frame generation. And a lot of the older ones like DX11 and stuff, those games you can, on newer hardware like this, you can get really good frame rates already. So when you flip that on, it maxes out your monitor screen rate, and it is so smooth that you are living in ignorance is bliss, because you can't tell the difference when you're playing on a controller, period. And if people say you can, when you're at 100 frames a second, if you're outputting at 100 frames a second natively with AMD's fluid motion frames, and you kick on, natively, and then you kick on AMD's fluid motion frames and it doubles that to 200 frames a second, you can't feel it. You might be able to see a little bit of ghosting and a little bit of fuzz and whatever else that people complain about, but the screen and the gameplay is so smooth that your eyes quickly adjust to it and you don't notice it as much anymore, because when you're looking out across the whole screen, the only time you're really going to notice it is if you're pixel peeping, if you're stopping and you're looking around. And I'll tell you what, in my honest opinion, as a gamer, it wasn't, I was playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla this way, and it wasn't as intrusive as most people would think. Like when I'm running around and turning the camera really fast around grassy areas and stuff, I can notice it around Eivor's character if I'm looking at Eivor, but if I'm looking out in the distance, I don't notice it. So in terms of, you know, being able to utilize these technologies, it is going to be something that you have to be comfortable with. Obviously, you're going to have to be able to get into these games and then, you know, decide where your comfort level is for some of this stuff. If you are the kind of person that needs pixel sharp, perfect, every time image quality, DLSS is for you. It's for you. DLSS is not perfect every time, and you know, there are going to be instances where you are going to look at it and you're going to be like, oh man, I wish this was better. And maybe someday they'll get an update or something will come and it'll be better. But I've seen ghosting. I've seen all of that kind of stuff on DLSS, but it never gets mentioned. Nobody talks about it. They just continue with the mantra that DLSS is better. And at 4K, I'm not even going to try to go against the grain on that, because yes, at 4K, DLSS is generally better. It hasn't been until FSR 3.1's come out that AMD can even compete in the whole upscaling at 4K thing. Now in my opinion, they both just kind of look the same. I do kind of feel like AMD still gives me that softer, fuller look, whereas DLSS gives me that more sharp, pristine, clean look, and that's fine. I've gotten used to the fact that the FSR is not gonna, you know, that I've gotten used to the fact of FSR being a little bit softer, and like I like that look a lot better because I play a lot of open world games. So a lot of people are gonna be playing, you know, open world games on DLSS, and that's fine. If you like it, awesome, dude. I'm happy for you. Like, I literally am happy for you. My goal is for those people that want to buy AMD because they're sick and tired of spending all that money on Nvidia and never knowing if they're going to have to upgrade a generation later because they might not have a feature that the new guys are getting. I'm here for the people that want to experience AMD and truly learn and have fun playing video games again, because in my opinion, AMD is where it's at when it comes to playing video games. DLSS is fine, Nvidia is fine, but I prefer that AMD experience. I absolutely prefer that AMD experience, and I love it. Let me do a little bit about the 7900 XTX. Now, I bought this GPU because I was, you know, I was, you know, truly considering getting the 4090, and I decided I wanted to spend my 4090 money on this. This here is the Sony FX30 camera. This is what is going to be powering the channel going forward. This is an amazing camera. This gives me the ability to film my screen at 4K 60, produce HDR content, all of that kind of stuff. This is a beast of a camera. So this is what I spent my $1,700 of 4090 money on, because I was considering it, guys. Like, I was definitely considering it, but I bought that and I was like, you know what? The Prime sales came on, and the 7900 XTX from XFX was $869. I was like, let's just do it. Let's just get it. So I got it. Complete impulse buy. It wasn't something that I planned out, because I just bought the camera and I was thinking, like, I'm set, I'm good. And so, like, I did it. It was an impulse buy, man. Like, I really didn't have a plan. It just kind of happened. You know, I put myself in this situation all the time. I mean, it's fine though. I like it. Now I have, you know what everybody was telling me, that, you know, that if the 4080 Super compares to the 7900 XTX, and in some ways, yes, that's true, but in a lot more ways, the 7900 XTX absolutely pulls away from the 4080 Super. And in my testing, I'm not going to call it testing anymore, because it's not really testing. It's more along the lines of, you know, I do my testing completely different than anybody else's. That's clearly obvious. How I'm feeling playing the game. What is it like? Am I more blown away by the AMD experience, or am I more blown away by the Nvidia experience? And man, the AMD experience consistently wins. I would rather have an AMD GPU in my freaking PC all the time. I do like the Nvidia one, and Black Myth Wukong, I'll end up buying that game. I'll play that on both of them. We'll see. Well, we'll see how that goes. But to tell you the truth, guys, like, I love AMD. Like, I think it's incredible, and I think more people should give it a chance. When it comes to the when it comes to this this 7900 XTX that I got, I definitely feel like this is a really solid build. With the 7800 X3D and the 7900 XTX, oh my gosh, man, this thing is just like, whoo, so much power. It really does feel powerful. It feels good. So, all right, my friends, if you guys like this content, do not forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. This video went a little bit longer than I wanted it to. I got to get ready for work, and I still got to upload this. So, we'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. I'll get you guys some more of that freaking content, filming the screen, trying to show you guys the differences of, and I want to put together this weekend a really good how to use your AMD GPU to get the most out of it, and to, you know, be able to get a quality experience at a very high frame rate. I want to see if we can do that this weekend, so I'll see you guys later. Bye.